Hotep, I am that I am. Some call me Haru. Now, what I wanted to do, I wanted to actually introduce you to the straw man. This fictitious corporation, this fictitious so-called public office agency of the U.S. government or employee of this U.S. government. Um, I got this PowerPoint I wanted to go through. Just kind of maybe bear with me because it's just like short and concise and kind of being a little consistent of what I have been researching on the straw man, what the straw man is, and how it relates to these issues. So give the U.S. back their straw man. Confessions of an economic straw man. So what I'm thinking about here is just some brief, to the point, hard hitting, critical thinking, far as what the straw man actually, how the straw man was developed, how the straw man was created, how the straw man keeps existing due to your consent. And what do I mean by consent? Your approval. Now let's get into it. Okay. A straw man defined. What does straw man define? And you can read it. I'm not really going to start reading, going through these things and, giving you some proper, I'm going to give you proper resources, definitely. Because they're coming from all these so-called statutes and laws and whatever you want to go with it for. But this is basically to give you an eye-opener. Don't take me wrong, because there's a lot of resources out there. Tunkashula, the movie, the documentary, the Zeitgeist, brother John Maxwell. Maxwell, Jordan Maxwell. I'm sorry, Jordan Maxwell, John Maxwell, Jordan Maxwell, and many other people. I mean, you got Alex Jones educating you. You got David Icke and some of these other cats out there that's actually giving you some great information. I'm not knocking it. I'm just getting to the point. Even Robert Menard out there in Canada. But at the same time, we just want to give you some open what really the straw man is. What actually how this straw man is defined, how this straw man works, and what they have done to you, to us, the so-called people, the sentient being, the human being, whatever you want to go with, the being that runs and walks and talks and critically thinks and sometimes don't think here upon this land or this planet known as Earth. So we want to get into it. So I don't want to go and read in verbatim. That's for you to read it. This is just a little PowerPoint for you to go into it. So we see a couple key words, and I didn't even highlight them, but this next venture I will be highlighting. You're looking at real property. You're looking at property. You're looking at purchases. You're looking at purchase of property. You're looking at person. These are some things you got that stands out in this concealed identity. Principle. No meal party, so to certain words, front, certain words out here, name, ooh, that's a big one, transactions. So these are certain things that still relates to the straw man, what is really going on with this straw man, how they're developing it with the U.S. corporation, how they got you. So I'm going to step on to some more definitions. Commerce. What is commerce? Exchange of goods, productions, property of any kind, and buying, selling, and exchanging articles. And you can read this for yourself. I do have the sources. You can actually go and read it for yourself. It is pretty concise and pretty long. I didn't want to get through all that because this is a really short PowerPoint. I just wanted to get to some key points I noticed in my research, what kind of stood out to me. I'm not trying to say, well, I got all this knowledge. I want you to do your own research. That's what My Sovereign World is all about. We want you to do your own research, get in there, get deep. It's pretty funny too when you're looking at this too. Commerce, sexual intercourse, social intercourse, intellectual exchange, business and trade. How deep is that? So this is how we're gonna just really define in straw man. So I'm just kind of focusing on straw man. I'm not going to be going everywhere else. I'm just going to be focusing on the straw man, and I'm not going to be talking about versus this and versus that. I'm just going to break down some little intricate, little pieces by pieces, how things correlate, how they work, and what's been going on. So what is the straw man? Okay, it all starts at birth. You know, birth of a child, the vessel, as they would call us, in maritime law and admiralty law. So we won't get into all that though. But that'd be like more than my another subject. That's in another subject. But these are the elements what they have done to us. They have stolen your God-given right. Period. That's what they did. They have stolen your God-given right and made you a business entity. That's what's going on here. They've been making you as a business entity. That's what a straw man is. And that's when we get into definitions, a little couple definitions, where it's found in some of the USC United States codes and code of of the federal regulations. So some of these things, and some of these elements are connected. All of them are connected. So we got to start looking at these definitions. A person. How many times you're calling each other a person? A U.S. person, an individual, a U.S. citizen, a resident, a taxpayer, an agency, a public officer, or a public office. So all these elements are synonymous. They're all synonymous. That's what I want you to get in your head right now. They're all synonymous. They all work together, regardless of what you think, what you say. You can go look it up right now. Hey, like I say, always willing. I'm always up for the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Even though I might not hit all the pointers in this so-called PowerPoint, but at the same time, it will come out throughout one of my publications or one of my videos or whatnot. So basically, this is just breaking it down what a straw man is. And these are all the identifications. And there's many more different identifications as well as some of these. A person, U.S. person, identity, resident, non-resident, and all these other crazy different aliens. So you got a whole bunch of them out there. Like I said, check it out and see what you want to do. Is this what you want to claim? Straw man, is what you want to claim? You want to claim the debt? You want to claim the tax, be a taxpayer? So be it, if that's what you want to be. But see, this is the element. A lot of us who's claiming to be sovereign, we ain't sovereign. Yeah, we're sovereign when we're a community of people together, united as sovereign thinking sentient beings. That's cool. But the problem is this: all you doing is remedies. You're not getting a full, you're not going with the full punching all the way through the bag. You see what I'm saying? We just punching right on the surface. We're just hitting the surface. So we want these remedies as a straw man. We want to control our straw man, or what you want to call it, secured party creditor. That's what you want to control. But people, we got to come to a thinking. You cannot control something that's already owned. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no kind of copyright ownership of this straw man, because this was a fictitious, developed entity, business entity they created for their benefit. And when I say their benefit, I'm saying the U.S. government, federal government. How can they become your masters? How can they become our masters and we're the slaves? Think about that. They run in bulletproof cars, got mansions, got all these things, and we're sitting here, slaves, hungry, thinking about when's our next food on the table, clothes on our back. Come on, people, we got to start really thinking. And it might not be that extreme for you. You might even be living, the life. You might be middle class. I don't know. But at the same time, I want to challenge you. That's the key element. I want to challenge your thinking, because that's what we're here for. Like I say, we are caught up in this public office holdership, or you want to call us an employee or an employer, whichever way. Taxes and the whole nine. When you look at that, income tax anyway. But I'm not going to get all in that. But this is basically the idea of just getting what is the straw man. So how do they create a straw man? They create it through a birth certificate, social security numbers, driver's license, marriage license, IDs, and any all license, really. With your consent, people, with your consent. So you're saying, yeah, sure, I need a driver's license. What's the first thing we tell our child? Age 16, hey man, you need to get a driver's license. We need to get you prepared. So we got to get you a driver's license. Okay, then we shoot back to the beginning. Ooh, birth certificate. Oh, social security number. Now we're looking at this birth certificate issue. Let me just go over this a little bit. A lot of people talking about it's worth 300,000 or something crazy money. Hey, I don't see it nowhere. I've been looking all over, checking everything. for this birth certificate issue. Some of the people up in this so-called sovereign movement talking about birth certificate is worth so much, it's a trust, and boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's a trust to an extent. I mean, it was a contract for that time period. Yeah, a certificate. That's the difference. A certificate. You gotta look at that kind of these terms. You know what I'm saying? So a certificate. Okay, somebody was born on this day, such and such. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We agree with that. Okay, Social Security, that's where it's kicking your ass right there. That's Social Security. That number is definitely the number. What they some of the brothers in the religious and sisters in the religious aspect of it, they say the mark of the beast. And guaranteed that is the mark of the beast. That stuff follow you everywhere you go in all things you do, and you don't even have to accept this Social Security number. That's the coolest thing. The Social Security Administration even give you an option, really, but they force it on you because they get paid at the so-called hospital. They get paid, a so-called endorsement fee, if you want to call it, a Tiger Woods endorsement fee. So they want to they definitely get their little incentive on that level. So they want to get as many as people they can get under that Social Security so they can control that Social Security or control that business entity. And this is where you're created as a business entity, period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? They created, as they say, as we always say, and you can look this up, 1933. That's when they filed so-called bankruptcy. Took that money away. Took that money away, came around and created